All right, now that we've covered the slide assembly, okay, we're going to move to the grip frame assembly. One last note though, that's field strip. You're not going to be expected to go to the armory level and remove these individual components inside of this slide assembly. A tool is required. There's a little star driver that is pushed in to the extractor spring here, and it's twisted. Then this plate is removed, and once that rear plate is removed, your striker and your firing pin, all this assembly, these guts fall out of the back of the slide. They can then be cleaned, reinserted, and so on and so forth. But that's really more of an armory thing. There's a special tool that comes for it. Don't do that unless told to by an armorer, okay? So this is field strip level, all right? So that's all that complete. Now let's look at this grip frame. Once again, modular. I don't want to take mine completely apart just because it's a little aggravating. But essentially, this takedown lever can be rotated, right? You can see it rotating through there right now, and pushed through this grip frame. And when it's pushed through the grip frame, it actually removes that entire lever you see turning there. And then this entire rail assembly will actually be removed from the grip frame. When that happens, you can replace a broken grip frame, you can change the color of grip frame, you can change the size of grip frame. This is a standard medium. You can get it in large and small, so it's a little thinner, a little shorter. There's a variation, there's a myriad of different grip frame assemblies that can be paired with these handguns. This right here is the actual nuts and bolts that are doing the work, okay? So this can be removed out of this piece of plastic, all the stainless steel you see here, and placed into another one, okay? So that's what makes this handgun modular, hence the modular handgun system, the M-18 and the M-17, which is the same gun, just a little longer barrel that the Army uses. The Navy and the Marine Corps are using the shorter barreled M-18 because it's more convenient, I suppose, whatever. All right, same magazines, everything else is the same. Even this is the same, okay? It's just one has a longer barrel. So with this, don't take the actual frame out of the grip. All right, do not do it. Just don't mess with it. It's a pain in the tail. I mean, it takes a few minutes of finagling. You got to hold your mouth right, okay? So don't do it. Just leave it here. Once again, use that polymer bristled toothbrush type cleaning device. Gently clean in here. If you have a little bit of compressed air, a little light blow, be gentle with your Q-tips and stuff like that, and your pipe cleaners. You might damage something. You can see some of these parts are pretty small, right? When you're pulling the trigger, it actuates the drop safety lever here, and then it also pushes up on the sear, pushes down on the sear all at the same time. Okay, so that's what's happening whenever you're going through the firing cycle of the pistol. All right, you're pulling that trigger and it's actuating all these components inside of here. You can see the trigger bar moving as well, right? So all you're doing is just pulling on this little linkage that moves these pieces in the back, firing the pistol. It's a striker fired pistol, right? So you can see more clearly our slide locks, ambidextrous. You see you push up on one, it pushes up on both, right? You can see that, okay? You can see our safety do its thing and engage, okay? That's fire, that's safe, safe, fire, safe. Beautiful thing about this pistol, the whole assembly, disassembly process can be done with the weapon on safe, which makes the trigger dead, right? Dead trigger, doesn't do anything, okay? The magazine release is swappable. It can be this, right now it's in right-handed configuration because I'm right-handed. You can swap it to be left-handed configuration if you're left-handed, so you push on this side instead of the other side. So that's no problem. You can do that for yourself if you're a lefty. It's a pretty little simple process to swap it. There's an instruction out there for it, or perhaps the best move would be don't do it yourself. Notify the armorer if you're going to be issued the pistol for a significant amount of time. Just notify the armorer, hey, you want yours made left-handed, okay? It's not some difficult thing to do, but just let them do it. They're responsible for the pistols when they're not in your possession, right? So that's about that. Once again, we've got our Picatinny rail, 1913 rail for accessories. You can see that magazine well nice and clearly here. To try and illustrate a little bit as far as the operational function of the firearm, we'll take an unloaded magazine and we will place it into the magazine well, and I'll let you see it lock into place here, right? So once you have the magazine inserted, you lock it into place. The magazine release is what drops it free, okay? And then of course this is up here, it's feeding into the chamber, right? That's what's happening here, all right? That's what's happening. So this pistol is issued with one 17-round magazine and two 21-round magazines. They're a little bit larger. They have an extended base plate on the bottom of them, okay? I'll show you one in a moment. But that's the gist of this pistol. Gently clean these components. Don't be rough with them. Don't get crazy with pipe cleaners or any metal brushes or anything like that. The more wear and tear you put on these parts, especially that sear assembly, okay, that's what keeps the pistol safe. Don't mess with that. Just clean it with a plastic, like toothbrush type bristle cleaning utensil, maybe a Q-tip. And if you do use a Q-tip, get the darn cotton, little fuzzies out of there. All right, get that out of there. So that's the basic field strip and cleaning regime that you need to do with this pistol and be familiar with. All right, so let's do a quick reassembly. Let's take our slide, take our barrel, and replace it. So you leave the rear lifted up, place the barrel in, drop it down, and then pull it to the rear until it drops into place. Y'all see that? All right, watch, it's gonna drop into place. Then you're going to take this recoil spring, okay, and guide rod. And it's got a distinct shape. And these two holes, they must go up and down in a vertical orientation, okay? So you can't have it wide this way. It's got to be vertical up and down like so. It's kind of like a little oblong ovally shape, right? Place it into the guide rod holder here at the front, all right? And then you're going to push forward on that spring and seat it on the locking block of the barrel. So metal on metal contact. See how that is? Perfect. That's how it works. Okay. Any questions about that? All right. Now, once that's assembled, let's go ahead and make sure that our grip frame assembly is on safe in the up position. Make sure that our disassembly lever is fully rotated to the disassemble, reassemble position. Then we will take our slide assembly, place it, put those rails on those rails like so. See that? Gently slide it to the rear. Now there's two more rails in the back that it has to mate up to. Okay, see that? All right, you complete that action by going all the way to the rear. Push up on that slide lock, lock it to the rear. So now you see it's locked to the rear with the slide lock. Then I'm gonna rotate the slide, the disassembly lever back to the flush position, right? So that it's in line with the barrel. You can see on this side too, it's in line with the barrel, right? See how it moves? Okay, make sure it's in line with the barrel. And then once it's back there, you can release and the pistol is reassembled. Okay, now we can do a function check. Weapons on safe, we know it's unloaded, right? So weapons on safe, pull the trigger, does nothing. Place it on fire, pull the trigger, I should get a strike or a click. Click, all right, that works. Now we're gonna place the weapon back on safe, run the slide, okay? And we're gonna try a trigger reset to make sure all the trigger components are functioning. So once again, safety, I got nothing. Put it on fire, pull the trigger, trapping the trigger to the rear. I have not released my finger from the trigger. Still maintaining that pressure on the trigger. Rack the slide. I'm still holding the trigger to the rear. Now I'm going to do a trigger reset, and I should get a nice little click. Ah, look at there, trigger resets. So now I know that my trigger assembly and everything is correct. I can put the weapon back on safe and know that it is ready for duty. Once I've re-lubricated those slide rails and stuff like that, I always put a little drop here on the barrel hood, stuff like that too. Work that oil in and make sure that it's well lubricated, okay? And that is the disassembly, reassembly, and the basic nomenclature of the M-18 service pistol. All right, you guys are going to take the class on the application for CentSec 4. You're going to take the little test. Yeah, it says that it takes a couple hours. It really doesn't, because you don't have to watch all those videos. Just make sure that you do well on that final test. Pay attention and read the firearm safety rules. Treat, never, keep. Read them completely, though. You should be able to recite them verbatim when you go to a gun range, to an RSO. And plus, it's just good ethics. Let's be honest, guys. These things are dangerous tools. They are that. They are just a tool. They don't do anything evil by themselves. They are simply to be used for good, all right? There's evil out there. We use these to stop the evil. That's it, all right? So if we have any questions, make sure those get forwarded up to me. I'm sorry I can't be there with you today to go over this thing with you in person, but we're not going to get to shoot them anyway. So I just wanted to make sure everybody had a good understanding and a reference standard that they could go back to and see how to quickly assemble, disassemble, and clean and maintain this pistol. Remember, less is more when it comes to the vigorous cleaning. Really, it's just make sure it's brushed out, blown out with a little bit of air maybe, clean out any gunk, use a soft bristle brush, and don't get crazy and break any components. You'll do more damage than you do good, okay? So that's all I've got for you on the M-18. Next one will be our service rifle.